Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in, back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, kind of. Well, it's my sixth year of college. Incredible.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock, and with me is a very special guest. I've got the Great Lakes Growlers, Keith Chapman. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem, bud. So, you are the goaltender for the Growlers in T3 in MyHa. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You guys just won a championship, right?
Yeah, starting off with me, so I played roller hockey at Grand Valley, played 5 years there, played some other leagues, actually played with you for a couple seasons back in the, was that early 2010s?
Yeah, well, it would have been 2000, 2010, 2000, late 2000, 2010, 2011.
2011, yeah. So a couple years there. We did, AIHL?
Yep. Yeah, that was when you were in net for us when we had PJ Kavia show up, and we just you guys dominated that weekend up there in Cedar Rock. That was amazing.
That was fun. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and Franny, he was always around, and So, so played at Grand Valley. I actually played early on in MyHa for a couple of years too, when it first was starting up, and then took like a 7-year break from roller hockey, and then just 2 summers ago found out there was a league out here in Georgetown. It's just like the concrete floor. We don't have the sport court out here anymore, so
not yet. I hear it's coming.
I've been hearing that rumor for years, but hopefully it's the case.
I have an inside scoop that it's coming sooner rather than later. I can tell you that much right now.
I know there's 2 new outdoor courts going in at Highland Park, but
cool.
Yeah, so I don't know all the details, but they're finalizing getting the boards and stuff up for that. So
they just put in a floor in Muskegon at one of their parks outside too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. But I'm like, man, in Muskegon, huh? But I mean, the park is nice, and they're just doing some improvements and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see, that hockey is still, around for the neighborhood kids to just grab a pair of skates and come on down and play a little bit. Sweet. It's definitely not a very big rink, though.
Yeah. Does it have like outdoor tile?
Yeah, no, it's a sport court. Yeah, I was surprised too.
It's surprising.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have to dust my skates off because I haven't skated since 2015. That was when I had to have the back surgery and take care of that, and then Like I tried to ref a little bit. I mean, you were playing at Rivertown.
Yeah, so I stopped playing around that time too.
Yeah.
So that was took a break there.
Yeah, so it's funny because you took a break and then you didn't play for 7 years after that, right?
Yeah, so then that's when I started playing at Georgetown, and then Jaron got a hold of me and was like, "Hey, we need a goalie for next season. You want to play?" And so yeah, played last season. This is my second season playing with those guys, so it's been great so far.
Yeah, and you guys dominated that first tournament last year in an insane finals there because you guys were up like 8-0 going into the third.
Yeah, that was an interesting tournament. We had some subs that were pretty good, so
yeah,
definitely helped.
The way I look at it is a win is a win, even if you have those subs around or not.
Yeah, W's or W's, man.
That's right. It's and it's always nice to see the former what has evolved from a team that I helped create. With the Great Lakes Assassins turns into the Great Lakes Growlers when Jaron took over.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah.
So so now you went to Grand Valley. That was a tell us what divisions you were playing in, because we do have some college players that are playing right now at Henry Ford. To name one, Slippery Rock, down in the Pittsburgh area, that do have a chance to catch on or watch these episodes. So give us a little bit of about your time at Grand Valley, because like you said, you played 5 years and you guys did really, really good though, right?
Yeah, so my freshman and sophomore year, we were Division II. My freshman year, we won national championship. And then my junior year, we went Division I. And so my junior, senior, and fifth year, we were all Division I.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And then I don't think Cody was playing on your team. That Cody Hagan. I don't think he was old enough to play with you guys yet.
No, that name does not sound familiar.
Yeah. I think he came. I think he came after.
Okay.
But he would have been right at the tail end of when you stopped playing at Rivertown and I stopped playing. Was when he was on that team.
Okay.
So they had a really good team that year too. So
yeah, I think they were Division II and they made it to the final.
Yeah, I think either that or the semifinals.
Yeah,
and they just ran into another buzzsaw of a team, either Bethel or Lindenwood B.
Yeah,
Lindenwood always has some pretty good teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even back when I
played. Yeah. So you took a 7-year hiatus. I took a 7-year hiatus. I actually came back right when you came back. But I jumped on the broadcasting announce team here at GCH. And then now this year I'm gonna kind of scale back just because of the new baby. And I'm just gonna be focusing on the podcast this season.
Okay.
Hopefully the next year I can kind of make it to a couple of events. I might be able to sneak out and check out the championships, which would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Just I've got the episodes for the recaps coming up here. I'll probably drop 1 and 2 within the next couple of weeks. Just got to do some tweaking, and then the content's really starting to flow and pick up. So I'm excited to see your guys' reaction. Yeah. It's one of those things where you just want to grow the game, as best you can. And if nobody's paying attention, or because they may not know about it. So what better way to do it than start talking about it? So I don't know if you had a chance to check out the El Paso, Texas episode that it just dropped on Wednesday.
No, I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah, you should check that one out. That was pretty cool. Those guys, Jairus and Eric Torres down there in El Paso, are two amazing guys. Jairus had hockey equipment from the 1980s in his garage, that he got from when he first started and all the way up.
Yeah.
And so like he had like an original roller hockey puck. And he's and like the rollerblade, the actual rollerblade brand roller skate or inline skate, with the snap-on stuff, and it's just so cool to see.
That's crazy. Yeah, that would be sweet. I'll check that out for sure.
And then Vince Freeze episode will be dropping here pretty soon. He's also down in the Texas area as well. But do you know how much it costs to play roller hockey down there in El Paso, Texas?
I have not a clue.
Okay, just take a guess at what you pay, and then divide that by 10.
Really?
Yeah, it's $40, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get 10 games plus playoffs.
Jeez.
I know. I'm just like, how do you pass that up? Like, why would you not say, shut up and take my $40?
Oh, that is like 10 times, almost exactly.
I told you.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it was like that everywhere. It'd be a lot more accessible.
And more affordable, and everybody would have fun. I don't think everybody would be so high strung or thinking that it's the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7 all the time.
That's true. Yeah, when you spend a lot of money, that seems to modify your mindset a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the team this year, because you guys brought back some players. You got Jaron, you got Keegan, you got Steven Nesbitt. You got off the top of my head, that's Ryan Peters is another one.
Yep.
He was an OG assassin there for a minute. He doesn't quite remember me because I was on he missed the first tournament that we did, but then he made it to the next tournament, and then that tournament that he came to, that very first tournament, is when my back said I can't do this anymore. Okay. So it was literally, we just had that one weekend. And then I was done. I was just spent.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a lot of our core guys. I mean, we have Adam Ledger. He's been around too for a while. Mm-hmm. We picked up a couple guys. Austin Kath, he was playing on Lansing Street Sharks.
Okay.
So he's on our team this year. And then we had a couple subs, I think, for this previous one. But we have other guys that are in the pipeline that are hopefully a couple guys from last year, Russ and Luke, that might be able to come back and play for us in some of the tournaments. So
awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully we keep things rolling. I mean, we had a pretty slow start, but we typically do on most weekends. We are usually a Sunday team. So, but yeah, once we get going, we figure it out pretty quick.
Oh yeah, and that was the beauty about us when we were playing too, is that you could go 0-2 on Saturday, but then just run the table on Sunday.
That's literally our MO.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're just like, what do we need to do to change? And it's like, well, don't change anything because you're winning on Sunday, and that's more important than winning on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get a couple of those, more of those Tier 3A championships, but as long as you're going home with hardware, I guess W is a W.
And one goal game is better. Is no different than a 9-goal game. Except for unless there's a tiebreaker, then you have to.
Yeah.
But outside of that, so are you enjoying your time in MyHa?
Oh yeah. No, it's been a blast. I mean, like when I didn't play there for 7 years, it was like I just started to really miss the game, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger, so I'm gonna come back and enjoy it and have fun doing it. So yeah, it's been a blast so far.
What was your first reaction when you walked into the rink probably for the first time? Now, did you watch any hockey? Did you go to any hockey events before, in those 7 years? Because I didn't.
I had zero affiliation with any roller hockey for those 7 years. I play ice hockey a couple days a week, but roller, it was I came in that first weekend and I was just so nervous. I was like, am I going to be able to remember how to do this? It was tough, but luckily with how good we did, it made things a lot easier on me. So
for sure.
But Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we had, a rink out here to play at year round. It would be so much easier for, I think all of our guys, because, it's kind of hard. Like I said, we're the slow start team. So if we can actually do some roller, because it's kind of different than ice. So if we could get some roller going, it'd be a lot easier.
Well, yeah, and then not only that, but then you have like the Grand Rapids Brusaders. You have the Grand Rapids, Grand Rapids Brusader. Yeah, what did I say? Grand Rapids Brusaders. The Grand Rapids or Beer City Growlers. Those two teams are in the Georgetown League as well.
Right.
They tend to, it's a bit of a struggle because you're playing against these guys that are playing year round, or 6 months out of the year, where you guys are only getting, 6, 7 weeks, 10 weeks if you're lucky.
Right.
It doesn't take much if you guys, one of you guys go down with an injury, or if you got a wedding to attend to or a graduation to hit up, you miss a game that week, and next thing you know, the season's over before you even realize it, but on the plus side, though, with you got some rinks that are closing, but then you have Nasher's gonna bring a rink to Columbus.
I saw that. That's awesome.
I think that's amazing for the sport, and maybe we can get somebody to kick it up a notch over on the west side of the state here to help these west side teams out.
Yeah,
sure. But it's tough because there's a lot of places that you can play at in the greater Grand Rapids area, in the Kalamazoo area, but trying to get everybody to make it to that central location, if you can find a spot in between those, Lansing, Grand Rapids, and Kalamazoo, that would make the drive, that's a 30-minute drive for each other.
Right.
That would be pretty cool, but that's tough to figure out.
Yeah, there's not much out there. That's all.
Yeah, because you're like, you would be like, I can't even think of a town in between, to pinpoint, because Caledonia is too close to GR. And Hastings. Hastings might not be a bad option, but it's nothing but farmland there. So it really is tough to try to get that central localized area, so that way, because Peaks. I think Zach Morey from the Brusaders, he's driving all the way up from Three Rivers.
Oh, and really?
That's 30 minutes south of Kalamazoo.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a hike.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but like I said, hopefully with the new flooring that I'm hearing, I don't know if it's officially out there yet, but I've been hearing more rumblings lately, more than I have anything. So,
because I've talked to guys, in my ice league that are like, if they just don't want to play on a concrete floor. So if they had a sport floor that's, more forgiving, they were like, oh yeah, I'd definitely be out there, and it's just, we don't have it.
Maybe we need to start a crowdfunding, option there, and just be like, hey man, chip in $10. Everybody chip in $10 and make it happen.
Yeah, I think, that's what they did for the ones at the Highland Park. So they got a grant, like a matching grant, to pay for their, I think it was the boards or something like that. But they had to raise like 40 grand to do it. So I think we need a lot more money than that.
Well, no, I think that, like 50 grand for a floor is about the average now.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Stillmet to throw one our way for free. That would be cool. Have you had a chance to play on that Stillmet floor?
I haven't, no. But I heard they have like their own puck that goes with it or something.
Yeah, the puck is a little bit. Yeah, the puck is a little bit heavier, but man, if you get a chance to play on that, dude, let me know how that feels.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah, I've heard it'd be nice for the heavier puck too, because us goalies don't have to deal with the bouncing of the light roller puck.
Yeah, Well, and the crazy thing is, like, and Franny was telling me this, is that the puck is actually the same weight. It's just the vulcanized rubber is just so much denser that you really feel like there's so much a weight and difference there, but it's you're just feeling the density difference.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I thought he was crazy too when he told me that. I'm like, there's no way, but it turns out it's true.
yeah, cool.
It's kind of like when you have two different size glasses, but the circumference of the one is a little bit different than the other, and you just pour one in the other, and it's the same amount of fluid. Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So that's crazy. So, um, so what tournaments do you guys are you guys attending this year? You got 3 more left before championships in May.
Yeah, we're going to Detroit in December
Okay.
for, I think that's the 16th, 17th.
Okay.
And then we're doing another Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's February.
Okay.
And then we're doing another Detroit, and I think that's in March.
Okay. So you guys aren't going down to Fort Wayne or Cincy?
No. I mean, we tried to make it work, for everybody. So
Right.
we had to do what we can.
Oh no, it makes sense. I mean, you got guys coming from Wisconsin. You got guys coming from
yeah. I mean, that was
from
part
the
of
middle part of the state too. So
because Chicago is technically our home rink, so
nice.
we try to get it so that half of us are coming from Wisconsin, and the rest of us are in Michigan. So
Right.
kind of in the middle, but
yeah. I love that connection is still there with the Michigan and Wisconsin boys. You know what? We'll put aside our differences and let's put a team together and play. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So because you guys did fairly well that first tournament. You guys won the opening kickoff weekend.
It's funny because historically, last year we went to Chicago and just got annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess historically they actually hadn't won a game in Chicago until this weekend. So these were our first and second win there in Chicago. So that was a big moment in Growlers hockey history.
There you go. A little bit of trivia for those that will use that at your local trivia night right there.
There you go.
So how did you get into ice hockey, or how did you get into hockey in general? Like, what brought you to the sport, and you were like, this is the sport I'm going to play? Because I'm assuming you played in high school, right?
Yeah. So my stepdad, he played Division I college hockey for Kent State University back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to have an NCAA Division I team back in the day. I think they were like independent, and then they ended up going to CCHA, I think in like the 90s or something like that. But then they folded in like 95. So he was a goalie. So naturally, I wanted to be a goalie. So that was kind of the start. I started skating when I was like 3, started playing ice hockey when I was like 5, goalie when I was like 7 or 8. And then once I got to high school, one of my coaches asked me if I wanted to come play for his roller hockey team.
Okay.
So there's in Lansing, there's YMCA. They had a half rink there, and that's where I started playing. So I did that mostly in the summers, and then when I got to college, I heard there was a team, and I tried out for them. So
there you go. Cool. So now, what is your favorite hockey memory? I'm sure you've heard my story of like the very first time I ever stepped foot in a hockey rink. I'm sitting in the stands with my uncle and my grandfather, and next thing you know, this puck just comes whizzing up towards my uncle, and he just barehanded caught the puck and then handed it to me. And then after that, I was hooked.
That's wild.
We had to stop at the concessions or the souvenir stand to get a couple mini sticks, and that was in Kalamazoo at when they were the K-Wings, and
There's a reason why they have netting now.
Yeah, well, but it was along the side. It wasn't in the back side or anything like that. I'll never forget. We were almost right on like at center ice. I think we were just off to the right, and I don't know how old I was, but and I tell him this story all the time too, and he's like, "Yeah, you remember that? Like you were pretty young, man. Like I don't know how you remember that." He goes, "But the funny thing is that I turned out to be a Colorado fan. The team that they were playing with was Colorado."
Oh, wow.
And it was a Colorado guy that tossed my uncle the puck. So he goes, "Oh, if I had known that you would have turned out the way you did, I would have, not asked for the puck."
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any cool story like that. I mean, all I can think of is just when we won the national championship my freshman year. That's really all that's probably my biggest memory. Because I remember when growing up, like high school, my teams were never that great that I was on. So it was usually just me getting shelled every night and then becoming the player of the team.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. I remember playing goalie, first starting out too, because my favorite player was Patrick Waugh, and here we are years later, and I was like, I think I got shelled that first game, and I'm like, and I didn't know that it was played with two halves. I thought there was 3 periods in this league. And I'm like, all right, well, somebody switch out with me because I'm gonna bring us back, because I was a pretty good forward, and nobody suited up, and they blew the whistle, and the game was over, and I was so mad, and I said, I'm never playing in net again. never jumped in net again, and that was because I didn't know to play out. I was always playing basically inside my net, so I was giving them the whole net to shoot at, and when you do that, it just makes it difficult because everything is just so much bigger. But hell, if I'd have stepped out maybe 3-4 feet, then they would have had no chance. But nobody told me that. So
it's harder to move around in roller, though, especially laterally. So yeah. I mean,
that's for sure. But yeah, so now take us back to that freshman year. You're winning the national championship. Tell us about that game.
So we played against Central Michigan. So we had kind of gone back and forth with them all season long. They beat us in regionals that year. And so we get it to nationals. We lose our very first game to, I think it was Newman. Yeah. And then, we hung with them, and they at the time they were like a powerhouse. I think they were the number one team in the country at that time. Yeah. And so we were pretty close with them. We held our own. So I think that kind of gave us a bunch of confidence going forward. And we ended up going undefeated in our pool the rest of the way. And then in the elimination rounds, we pretty much handled everybody pretty easily. Had one close game against Westchester. Came down to a last-minute penalty shot. The guy went down, clanked it off the post, and we won.
Oh. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then I think that was the quarterfinal. Semifinal, we beat, was it Missouri? I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was Missouri or somebody. Beat them pretty good, and then met Central in the final. Classic, high-scoring game, physical. Yeah.
Yeah, because Central had a really good team back then. And then I don't know what happened to that team. I think they folded shortly after that, because Western was really physical with them as well. Right when you started to come play for me, you didn't hear anything about anything out of Central Michigan after that.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years after that they folded.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild because I was thinking, looking back, and there was like 70 Division II teams my freshman year. Like, that's insane. Like, look at it now. Like, there's maybe 20 total.
Oh,
So,
I think there's a little bit more than that.
is there 20?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy that there was that many.
Yeah, and it's insane how the landscape has changed in the college roller hockey scene these days. But you are still seeing a lot of teams out east. You're seeing a lot of teams, from down south. I mean, Florida Atlantic Gulf Coast has got a team. And then all the way out there into the west as well with Arizona State. Lindenwood always has a solid program. I think Newman's program is still good. Bethel's good. And then you got some of those teams in the Pittsburgh area, Slippery Rock. Mount Morris is another one. Montclair State. Rochester Institute of Technology has a roller hockey team. So, I mean, it's out there. It's getting there. Whether or not they're playing Division I or Division II, I mean, the teams are there. And then, of course, you got Henry Ford. I'm not sure. Did Henry Ford used to be Schoolcraft Community College?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's what happened, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
Yeah. So with the MyHa season now in play, which teams are you looking forward to play against? Which teams are you kind of like hoping to really play in the championship? Here at the championships.
Well, we had some pretty good matchups against Columbus Heat, so I think they're only at one tournament that we're at. So I think it's Detroit, maybe. So that's always fun. It's fun playing against those guys.
Yeah, well, they have it. It always seems like they are always because they always make the championship, but then they just for whatever reason, either the team they're playing against plays out their butt, like out their ass, and they just raise the level of play, and they get smoked, or it's so close that they lose in overtime.
Yeah.
You feel for them because you're like, how many times? I think last year they were in the finals. I think all four tournaments or all five tournaments, and then just came up short. Yeah. But hey, at least you got that rivalry going. I'm looking forward to seeing how that ends up, and I think it's gonna be a pretty good season for you guys.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully.
All right, man. Well, again, thanks for taking the time to join us on the GCH podcast there, Keith, and we will see you on the flip side, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. No, thanks for having me.
All right, brother. Cheers.
See ya.
Cool.